your family been here today?
They were here today, yeah. Yep.
Has it been tough to leave them behind?
You know, they don't care. They really don't care that much. You know, like I think initially, you know, every kid reacts differently. My second son definitely was a little bit emotional when I left initially, but ultimately, you know, they have their friends and they have all the things that they're keeping them occupied. I'm the one that's trying to hang around the facility as long as I can and stay around people as long as I can because I'm the one going back to a hotel room by myself.
Joe Flacco, he has 5 kids between the ages of 11 and 5. He left them behind to join the Cleveland
wonder
Browns.
He wants to keep playing football.
3 weeks ago today is when he signed with the Browns practice squad.
Yeah.
And as of today, he reverts to the Browns practice squad and technically can sign with any team. Not that it's going to happen.
That's amazing.
But he's been named the starter for the rest of the year, and he's not even on the team.
You need to call the Vikings. Tell them to steal him right now.
Well, I still want to know why the hell the Jets never brought him back. I asked him
I think
about
that's
that.
obvious. It's number 12. I mean, number 8 now for them.
I think Woody just decided.
Oh, you think he was...
I think Woody just decided he's not my cup of tea.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think.
Okay, all right.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought this big bad New York media. Go ask the question. That's the obvious question.
I just figured it was a little bit
Where's
like,
Joe Flacco?
I kind of looked at it like it's Rodgers. He won a Super Bowl. Here's another guy that won a Super Bowl.
But after Rodgers gets hurt,
I don't know.
After Rodgers gets hurt, and you're trying to
you.
figure out what you're going to do, it's like they never even considered Flacco.
Well, because Rodgers is running the organization a little bit right now.
And he's not doing a very good job of it. I asked Flacco yesterday, was there ever a point where you were just expecting the phone wasn't going to ring? He said, yeah, right about the time the phone rang.
Yeah.
And he didn't even know that he'd been named the starter for the rest of the season. I said, hey, any
great.
reaction to Stefanski making you starter the rest of the season? Oh, the first time hearing of that. So he's the guy now. I mean,
that's awesome.
And look, I mean, when you put a guy who can still throw it
that's right.
on a team with that kind of defense,
Yeah.
you get the outcome you had yesterday. They handled the Jaguars, who had Trevor Lawrence, who somehow was fine.
Amazing, right?
After getting twisted around like Gumby,
right.
Taking 2 hours to walk to the locker room just to prove to himself and the rest of the world he was still capable of walking, comes back and plays and looks fine doing it, and the Browns still take them down in a game that was big for both teams. Jaguars had lost 2 in a row. The Browns had lost 2 in a row, needed to turn it around. Joe Flacco, as my internet son would ask time and again, and I think at one point asked Donald Trump this question during some sort of an online thing back in 2016.
Right.
Is Joe Flacco an elite quarterback? He
hilarious.
is still elite.
Well, early on in the game, play actions, bootlegs, that was the name of the game, and it's a smart thing to do. We know Cleveland, they can run the ball traditionally, but the thing that I think that shocked me is just how much they've had to depend on Flacco throwing the football in the first 2 weeks. 40-plus throws in each game. If you told me that before you started, I would go, well, they're not going to win those games, because the Joe Flacco thing, like you said, still moves good, still can throw the ball in the eye-popping way. Turnovers, holding the ball too long in the pocket, trying to fit the ball into a tight window. That's been Joe Flacco's problem the last few times he's got a chance to play. But he's reeled it in to a degree here. And, yeah, it was really, quite amazing what he's doing right now.
He is a unicorn in that he's the former highest-paid player in the NFL, and he didn't just walk away when the window closed on him being a star.
Right.
He keeps hanging around, and he keeps hanging around because he loves it. He told me, I love it, and I'm going to play as long as I can. And part of it, too, is, when he won the Super Bowl, his first kid had just been born.
Yeah.
The kid doesn't know what's going on.
Sure, right.
Now his kids can enjoy it.
Yeah.
They can see what dad's doing, and I think that means a lot to him as well.
Yeah.
Plus, getting out of the house when you got 5 kids between the ages of 11 and 5.
That's right. Well, yeah, and, like we always kind of talk about, right? I know you've brought it up before. It's just like, well, what else is he going to do?
Yeah.
Like,
he's got the rest of his life to do whatever else he's going to do, and that's what he said.
Right.
I got the rest of my life to do something other than play football. I'm going to play football as long as I can.
Yeah, and to hit more on this game, of course, and the throwing the football with Flacco, the plays he made there, a 3rd and 1, the first touchdown, 34-yard pass. Hey, they're playing the run. They catch the Jaguars defense being too aggressive, and Njoku cuts a touchdown. Of course, the 4th down and 3, and we showed that on that montage of plays there. 4th down and 3, go for it in a big moment, right, and hit David Bell over the middle.
Had that bunch formation.
Yep.
if you watch
kinda
that play,
confused the Jags a little
two
bit,
guys
right?
went with
one
Elijah
guy,
Moore,
right?
and Bell popped wide open.
Popped open. Flacco kind of escapes to the right, finds him, touchdown. That was big. And
Blitz
then-
was coming from the left. He knew the hot read was over there.
Right, faded away a
and he
little,
saw him
and-
pop open just before he got the ball to
Yeah,
him.
really good job by him. And then the other thing I'll throw on top of that, too, is it's just too hard to beat Cleveland when we have to drop back and throw the ball every time. You throw the ball 50 times against Cleveland, my money is they're going to make 4 or 5 plays, strip sack, interception, and turn the ball over, and that's what they did yesterday in that football game. They're too freaking talented across the board. And even though the Browns won the game and at moments looked like they were controlling it, man, it wasn't. It was dicey there a little bit. It was 14-7. The Jags were driving. They were in the red zone. Right? Calvin Ridley doesn't turn around. Trevor Lawrence throws an interception. I don't know what the communication was there. Then they're backed up a little later, right? The defense causes a turnover and gives Kareem Hunt the ball in a spot or gives the Cleveland Browns an offense on the 22-yard line going in where they get a 22-yard touchdown drive. So, even though the defense let up some plays and we saw Trevor Lawrence have some highlights and whatever else, that Cleveland defense, man, they're scary and they are going to make a handful of plays every game.
All right, give me a superlative. Mine was Joe Flacco is still elite. Yours is what?
The gold rush, baby. They're going in the gold rush out there in 49ers. They have struck gold. They have struck gold. I know you're just an asshole by nature. But
Tell me that lion lamb thing again, too, from last night.
I'm going there with my next superlative. Right, don't you worry. Okay? But, yeah, the 49ers, I mean, I thought at first in the game, I went, they're coming out a little bit with maybe we beat Philadelphia and Philadelphia hangover and didn't take Seattle seriously, right? But all in all, their offense, the people they have on that side of the field, it's just scary good. And Shanahan's in a groove and using them all off of each other. But, I mean, come on. I mean, it's 150 rushing by McCaffrey. It's 150 receiving by Debo. It's 125 receiving by Ayuk. And, that tight end that's an all-pro, he has 76 yards receiving. I mean, it's just the big plays. It's just like, when is it coming? It's going to come. They start the game out. The first play is a 70-yard run by Christian McCaffrey. 2 plays, 75-yard touchdown drive. And then, you saw Debo Samuel deep against Jamal Adams, touchdown. They're running the ball off of McCaffrey. Again, to your point early in the conversation, he fakes it to McCaffrey. Nobody covers Kittle. Touchdown. That's the argument, right? Yeah, Purdy, he's really good. He makes plays outside of the system, but he also is still very reliant on the greatest system in the sport right now with Shanahan and the weapons that go along with it. So that's what makes that conversation interesting. But that defense and the way that offense is playing right now and that quarterback executing the Shanahan scheme, as good as we've seen the 49ers offense look in the Shanahan era, in my opinion.
Well, and for the first time ever under Pete Carroll, the Seahawks have lost 4 in a row.
Whoa.
They gave up 411 yards to the Cowboys week 13, 527 yesterday to the 49ers.
And the 49ers
when they are healthy,
play
they are
the whole fourth
unstoppable.
quarter. It was a little bit like a foot off the gas pedal.
I know that we talk about these other teams because we have to.
Yeah. But
how are any of them going to beat the 49ers? As long as the key players are healthy, how are any of them going to beat the 49ers?
Healthy, or you're going to have to make force a turnover, which we don't see them do very often. It's going to take something extraordinary. There's no question about that.
And, they've been trying and trying. They've been so close. 2019, they had it. They've had 2 straight years where they've had their playoff life end prematurely.
Yeah.
This may be the year that they get there, and this may be the year they win it, because they are still the best team, and there's a gap. Next one for me, the Buccaneers, trying to disrupt a little bit. I think they're the most dangerous team in the NFC South. One of them is going to get to the playoffs. They're the one most likely to win a game, or at least likely to lose a game. But Baker Mayfield, he's got what Coach Garrett likes to call moxie.
He does.
And to pull off that drive at the end of the game,
Yep.
the throw to Kate Otten, I talked to him and I said, was he open? And he laughed. And he's like, well, I knew Mike Evans was going to be doubled. I knew Chris Godwin was going to be doubled. Here's the throw to Godwin that sets up the red zone
Big
opportunity.
Throw.
And watch Kate Otten here. I mean, Kate Otten's not open.
No, he's not.
But he said I knew if he went off the line of scrimmage, he'd have a chance, and he did. He makes that cut on the corner route. He's got a tiny little bit of separation, but the throw had to be perfect, and the throw was perfect.
Throw was perfect. Back corner of the end zone. He knows if he puts it back there in a certain spot that only Kate Otten will be able to get it, and he dropped it in there perfectly. Bucs.
They're another team, too, like the Bills, where there's a natural chip on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Nobody pays attention to us. Nobody believes in us.
Tom Brady left, and we got the same records we did last year with Tom Brady.
Right. But nobody's, and it's like, and I kind of like, he said, we cherish that, we harness it, and that becomes the thing that gives them a kick. And he wants to stay in Tampa. It's going to be interesting to see what happens after the season. Whether they make it or don't make it to the playoffs, what kind of changes they're going to make. Will he be the quarterback next year? I think he's played well enough that he should be, and if not, there should be somebody else out there saying, hey, we could do a hell of a lot worse,
Agreed.
than Baker Mayfield.
I don't think their offense is all that good, right? I think it's a little, again, the playmakers, the quarterback, the Mike Evans and all of them, they do it. Yesterday, they struggled on offense, but like what we've seen from them is, in games like that, Baker Mayfield makes 3 or 4, like, whoa, that's a great throw. Tampa has shown the ability, unlike the rest of the NFC South, to be kind of explosive on the offensive side of the ball at times. I will say, this is a game where I don't know. Did the Bucs win or did the Falcons lose? That's the only thing I'll say. I think the Falcons are a better team than the Bucs. But the Falcons find ways to mess things up. I mean, hey, Koo misses 2 field goals in the first half. Ritter holds the ball too long backed up, takes a safety. Throws an interception on a screen pass that gave the ball to the Bucs. What was that, on the 8-yard line? Right? So there's things, again, with the Falcons, you sit here and go, they had 434 yards of offense. The Bucs had 290. They controlled the flow of the football game, but the Bucs didn't make any big mistakes, and Atlanta made a few of them. And because of that, the Bucs hung around, and the best quarterback in the division made the plays. And that's what he is. And that's why the Bucs, I don't think they're as good as Atlanta, but because they got some moxie and that guy at quarterback, you could see them making the playoffs.
And they control their destiny.
That's right.
And that's something Baker mentioned
a couple
times.
But their defense, man, I don't get it. They're getting gashed, and they seem like they have more talent than what they're doing.
When you talk about discipline, what can you do, or is it players, is the coaching staff, to help with that discipline aspect? What areas can you help them improve?
Yeah, you know what? I need to push it a little bit more. I'm just going to need to be a little more irritable, which I can do that.
Oh, he can be a little more irritable. Now, remember, he said not that long ago, we're not going to yell and scream. We're going to come up with substantive points.
Yeah.
I think the substantive points are out the window now. It's time to yell and scream.
Going to be a little yell and scream, the substantive points.
Starting to fall apart. And, they've had 4 rough games. They've, fortunately for them, won 2 of them.
Yeah, right.
They could be in a free fall right now. They should have lost to the Bears 3 weeks ago. They screwed around with the Saints, let the Saints hang around.
Right.
But they lost to the Packers on Thanksgiving Day, and then yesterday they went to Soldier Field. You called it. You're on the Bears run, man. Keep betting on the Bears, I guess.
Well,
Bears beat the Vikings. Bears beat the Lions. You called both of them.
There's games that they just match up. I actually called the Bears to beat the Lions, I think, the first time around, too, when the Lions beat them. I think I picked them that time, too. And, hey, we're superlatives. Yeah, I called it lamb chops, first off. I did a segment last night on Football Night in America about the Lions, and it was, hey, in like a lion, out like a lamb, right? March, all of that. So we went out like a lamb. They came into the season like a lion, out like a lamb here so far. And Maria Taylor and Devin McCourty, they're like kids. I had to explain that. They never heard of it before. So I had to teach them that. Either way, like you said, the Lions are reeling. And this is the first problem. Their defense is getting gashed everywhere. I mean, look at this. Cole Kmet, is he open or is he wide freaking open? I think he's wide freaking open. 4th and 13. They can't play man coverage. Look at, there goes DJ Moore. As soon as they saw man, and then, of course, they jumped off sides, Justin Fields was like, I'm throwing to the guy that's got 3 rockets up his ass against the guy that can't cover him man-to-man. Boom. The Bears are going to be really interesting this offseason, Mike. One, the Justin Fields decision, right? Which I
think the decision's made. I think the way he's been playing, you got to give him another year.
What are they going to do with Eberflus and Ryan Poles? I hope they give him another year. I think they deserve that. I mean, last year they didn't try. They didn't even spend the money. We talked about it a lot during the year.
They tore it down, and this year they started building it up.
They're starting to build it up, and you're starting to see it go in the right direction. And the team has got talent. I mean, it's got real talent. If they fire Eberflus, that will be a marquee job. With all the picks that they got, people are going to want the Bears job. You break down their team
Your buddy Harbaugh want to go back to the place where he was a first-round pick in 1987?
Right, that's his region of the country. I mean, I hear you, but I don't think they should fire Eberflus. But you break their team down, you go, that O-line, overpowering big. Those receivers, Mooney and Moore, right? Pretty damn legit. Cole Kmet showing he's one of the best tight ends in football. The running backs are good. The D-line is good. They didn't have a pass rusher. They got Montez Sweat. And let's not forget, I think they have the most picks in the first 3 rounds at any team in football this year, right? The linebackers are good. The secondary is good. They got it all right now. They really do. So watch out for the future.
That first overall pick again.
Exactly.
And stockpile even more.
Exactly. If there's few other pass rushers or whatever else they like. So they are really sitting pretty. But, yeah, that was a fun game to watch. A lot of big plays. And how can you not be worried about the Lions a little bit? Offense doesn't look the same. Defense is getting gashed by everybody. There's a little concern there right now. And I think, Dan Campbell's going to have to get a little chippy and start biting some kneecaps off again here.
Montez Sweat told me after the game that their goal was to get them to third down.
Yes.
Get them to third down.
When they're in first and second and they still have that play action pass available and some of the reverses are all still available, right? They're a problem. Third down, Jared Goff's in the pocket. All the tricks of the offensive coordinator is going to be a drop back pass. He's not capable of making plays to extend things, right? We know that about Jared Goff. He's a rhythm offensive quarterback. It's, hey, I fake the ball, I come up, coach said take a pat, throw it there. He's not going to be the guy that, oh, wait, I'm supposed to throw it there. He's not open. The second guy's not open. Now I'll make a play in the backyard. That's not what he's going to do. And you're seeing that's where teams are getting the Lions to right now. And he's not the kind of guy that's going to carry the squad that way.
3 picks against the Bears the first time, 3 fumbles against the Packers on Thanksgiving. Clean game, I think, completely against the Saints.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, 2 interceptions
again.
And the fumble, although it's charged to the center.
Which is...
It's
Jared Goff.
I mean,
you watch it, he closes
center
his hand
put the
too
ball
early.
there.
It wasn't a bad snap. I agree with you. I think that was Jared. And that was a crucial moment.
There was no swamp ass involved either.
Definitely
so even
not.
less reason to blame the center.
Crucial moment of the game, right, Mike? I mean, it was I believe it was that moment. It was 19-13, and the Lions had the ball. And he fumbles the snap, and you kind of felt like, ooh, man, the Bears had some chances to maybe put them away. They didn't do it. The Lions are going to hang around and upset the Bears like they did a few weeks ago. He fumbles that snap, right? They get a field goal, or they get the touchdown there, and then the next drive, the Lions go for it on 4th down and don't get it. They get stopped, and that converts to a Bears field goal, and that put the Lions away.
The way this is currently crumbling for the Lions, there's going to be hell to pay in the offseason, and the fans are going to want Goff gone. They're going to want Goff gone. Whether it's Hendon Hooker next year or somebody else, they're going to want Goff gone. And I'm sorry. I mean, it's just we're just analyzing the game. Somebody gave me a hard time last week because I wrote that Goff better get his act together and he's going to be gone. You're eating your words now because he didn't have any turnovers against the Saints. Like, it doesn't change the fact that he had 6 in 2 games.
Yeah.
He's got to see this through.
Right.
Because he's going to get you to a certain level, and he's not going to get you beyond that.
Well,
and the Lions are going to want to get beyond that.
I hear you.
So, all right, thank you, Jared. You got us to here. Now we're going to use the guy who's going to get us here.
Yeah.
Whether it's Hooker that they used a 2nd-round pick on or somebody else.
Right, who I think they really like and all that. But yeah, you're right. The offense isn't delivering for him right now, and he's not the kind of guy that's going to pull everybody through in a tough moment. That's not what he's going to do. I will defend him in the fact, too, of they need some more splash players. That's, to me, hey, they exceeded expectations last year. We might have put them a little too much on a pedestal this year. They only have one marquee front 7 player in Aiden Hutchinson. They really have nobody in the secondary you look at to go, ooh, wow. The linebackers are good. They're not great, right? And then we talk about the same thing you've heard me talk about the last few weeks. The Bears play man-to-man. They're like Kansas City. They play more man-to-man. They play man-to-man at every play. Detroit could not separate from them. That is the issue. And then Goff isn't going to make laser beam throws or buy time and do that. And that's where it's kind of hurting right now with Detroit.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.